Hi, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Yondas, and today is April 29th, 2025, and I have kind of an informal, but I think a fun live card class for you tonight. Hi, Linda. Hi, Victoria. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. Um, I decided because the new catalog was coming out next week. There's so many great bundles or stamp sets and dies that are on the last chance list. So I picked one of my favorites, which is the Linked Together. And I wanted to share some ideas with you. This is still on the last chance list. It is something that you can use with every other stamp set you have. You can create some great backgrounds, and that's what I want to show you tonight, how to incorporate those. Now, I am using just the linked together masks, and I'm also using the dies. And I'm going to show you some ideas for using the mask. We're going to make one card, but I have two other cards to show you afterwards. So I hope you'll hang with me to the end. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm happy you found me. I hope you'll like what you see. And if you're with me live or you come back and catch the replay, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I really enjoy being here with you. So I'm going to turn this down and we're going to get started. Okay, I'm going to bring in just like a background so you can see the masks a little bit better. Now, these are the linked together dies, and there's only 7 of them, but I've used, I think, all of them in cards tonight except this oval. You have like a parallelogram. You have this beautiful lattice work that we are actually going to use to make our card. You have the flowers, some large, almost like daisies, and you have these little ones, and they cut 4 at a time and 2 at a time, and then these leaves. So I'm going to show you some ideas to do with them. And then you have the masks. Now there's 5 masks. And we're all used to masks, these layering masks I love. I love layering masks. It's an easy way to color and add some real detail and dimension to your colored images. Often with the flowers, you layer one on top of another. These you do the same, but I am going to recommend, I did not like using 5 at once. It was just way too much, and I didn't really like how it turned out. So I'm going to show you some pairings for these of how to use them, and then how I used them to make a card. And we're going to make a card. So these are all numbered 1 through 5. This is number 1, and each one of them is notched. Now, the notch helps when you're using these to layer, to place your masks so that they actually will match up and you have a nice image. So I'm going to layer this right where you can see me use it. And then I'm going to put my, I'm going to actually take some low tack tape, and we're going to add it to here. And that should be good right in the middle for you to see. And then I'm going to place this. This is 4 1/4 by 5. I usually start out with larger than I need because then I can cut it down. And this is lined up on a grid. You don't have to do that, but I do it just to make sure it's straight. And I'm just going to tack this down with some tape. Now, other times I may use a tack mat or to hold these down, but I know a lot of people don't have that, so I wanted to show you a way that you can use these easily. So I'm using low tack tape. I also took a piece of tape and put a little arrow right where I'm going to place my masks in the follow-up once I layer. Hi, Diane. Thanks for joining me. So that little arrow points to this very tiny arrow here, and this is right along the top of my mask so that I know where to place it. So I'm going to start off, let's start off with some colors. I'm going to pull out Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and Lost Lagoon. I pulled these out from actually my color wheel because I wanted to do like some green blues. And when I came up, they came up as complementary colors on the color wheel. So that is how I chose them. So I'm going to start off with my lightest, which is Pool Party. And let's go ahead, and I'm using one brush for all three colors. Now I do have some scrap paper here that I'm going to use to clean this off. And this is pretty clean. And I'm going to come in with my Pool Party and ink up my brush. Now I tap off. I'm using a glass mat. You can use a piece of scrap paper, copy paper to do that. I tap off on my glass mat because I can then go back up and pick up the color that I leave on the mat to use. I'm also going to start, as I add my color, start off the paper and just keep adding. Now we may not do the whole piece here, but I want to show you how layering these and adding color can add some really gorgeous background to your card. And I'm going to show you a couple of different masks. So I'm going to add some more, tap off, start on my mask, and come on over and just add nice light swirling motion to color this. Now, when I'm purchasing supplies or products, I'm always kind of gotten, and I wasn't always like this. I was where I had to, if I saw a card and I liked it, I purchased it. Well, I've learned to look at what I have and how I can use with what I'm purchasing with other products I have. And these masks are one you can use with any other stamp set to create some really interesting backgrounds. So let's add a little bit more here, and I'm going to pick this ink up that I have over on my glass mat. That's one of the reasons I love this glass mat, especially when I'm using blending brushes. And we're just going to add. Now, we could be here all day for me to add even color. So I'm going to do my best to get a nice layer, and then we're going to switch to a different mask. I know my hand is in the way. Let's go with that. So I'm going to take this off, and you can see we have a really pretty design with Pool Party. Okay, now I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to come in, I think, without using Coastal Cabana. I think I'm going to come in with Lost Lagoon. Now, I'm going to move this off to the side, and I'm going to show you how to clean these when I'm done, because I don't want to get anything on my paper. So remind me if I forget. So you have other masks here that you can add. This one, you can add, and you get like half of the whatever hexagon, because it has 6 sides. I really not my favorite, so I'm going to go with some of these smaller ones. So let's go with, I'm going to go with this. So I'm going to take this up to where my the edge of the tape meets the edge of my mask, and where the point is right in the center, and line that up, making sure it's straight. And now I'm going to glue this. I'm going to tape this down. As much glue as I usually have on my hands, I probably could glue it, huh? All right. So Diane, you're interested. You haven't used masks or stencils too often. I absolutely love them. I think a couple years ago, before they even came out, I had gone in to where we can make suggestions to Stampin' Up. And I had suggested layering masks. Now, knowing Stampin' Up, they're working on stuff 2 years ahead. But the following year, they came out with them, and I was so excited that I think I have all of them. All right, so let's grab the Coastal Cabana. Let's go with that, because that is going to be a little bit darker. I've cleaned my brush. Again, I'm not too worried because they're the same color family. I'm inking it up well, and I am going to tap off. And then I'm going to come in here and add some darker or deeper color. And I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but I am going to pick up that ink off my glass mat and re-ink. And you can see we're getting some really good color here. Hopefully I didn't grab the same mat. Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit more around the edge here, and I'm not re-inking. I'm using what I already have and picking up off my glass mat. Get a little bit down here, and let's take this one off. Okay. So you can see this was smaller, and you get almost like a three-dimensional look. And I'm going to pick this up in just a bit for you to see. I'm going to set this off, and we're going to come in now with these little dots, and let's see how this might look. I'm going to line that up again, right up to the edge of my tape. If you had paper down here, you could actually take that notch and notch it onto the paper so that you knew where to put it. And now we're going to go in and add some Lost Lagoon and see what we can do to kind of dress this up a little bit more. Now, again, I started off with a larger piece than I'm going to need because then I can cut it down. I'm going to bring in my scrap and just clean this off a little bit. Looks pretty good. All right, and now I'm going to ink up with Lost Lagoon, which is much darker, and just start to color and fill in those little petals or the little holes that are in the design. So you can layer these and do all kinds of combinations. You can use just one layer. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to finish the top part of this and leave the bottom part without it, and you can see the difference in the layering. Let's add a little bit more up here. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and close this one up and take this off to show you. Now, these layers work the same. And you can see that you have almost like little flowers in the center. And it almost looks, if you can see the light with the dark, like a 3D. So there's one example for you. Now I want to show you how to clean these. You can use an alcohol wipe. You can use a sponge with water, our purple sponges. To clean our stamps. We'll clean these. I just keep some alcohol on my desk and grab a cloth, and these wipe off, and I use the alcohol because if I'm using these one after another, it dries really quickly and cleans off really nicely. And I'm going to set that off to the side. And you can just see how easy those clean up. You do want to clean both sides because you may get some ink that goes through. And if you don't clean it and you lay it on another piece of paper, you actually may get some of that color that you have on the mask onto a new piece of paper or smear it. So that's one way of using it. Now I want to show you, I've used white. I want to show you how to use them on colored cardstock. So I have a piece of the new strawberry slush here, and I'm going to add some low tack tape to hold this in place. And I know I'm not going to get it in the same spot, but hopefully you'll see that. So I want to go ahead and let's add, we're going to use this one again, and I'm going to line it up. And I just want to show you, this is not strawberry slush. This is Flirty Flamingo. So let me correct myself. It is Flirty Flamingo, but we're going to color or mask it with strawberry slush. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add color, that you can use these even on your colored cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and add my little tool here to line things up. And then I'm going to tape this down so that it doesn't move on me. All right, so I have another one for my red family or pink family. And I'm going to open up the strawberry slush. This is one of the new colors coming out next week. It's one of the 2025, 2027 in colors. You can tell I've used this tape a lot today because my low tack tape is much lower than low tack. It's not sticking. So let's try a clean piece. All right, we're going to ink this up. And this is a very inky, so I am going to tap off. And just going to come in with my strawberry slush ever so lightly. And can you see that you're getting just a nice layer across the Flirty Flamingo? Just enough to add a little bit of color. Now, for those of you who like white or craft ink, I want to show you something you can do with this. So let's go ahead and just add a little bit more, and I think we'll be good here. I'm going to pick up this, and I'm not sure that I have this as well covered as I would like, but let's go ahead and take this off. And can you see the design from the mask? Okay, now I'm going to bring back that one with the little flowers because I think that will look really kind of stunning with this, I hope. And we're going to line this up, and I'm going to tape this back down. Now, I don't want to get any of this, my hand on this, and get this. So I just have a wet rag here, but I'm wiping that off. And we're going to add our tape. And I do like to use craft ink. So I have, this is re-inked. The white craft ink does dry quickly. It dries out a little bit quicker. So I tend to re-ink mine whenever I go to use it. So I have a brush that I'm using only for the white craft. Now, white craft is thick. It's sticky. So I'm going to hang on to this. I'm going to dab off and just lightly start going, whoops, look at that. Lightly start going around, and hopefully I can line that back up because that didn't work the way I was hoping it would. All right, so let's just see while I hold it. And again, hold on to it tight because the craft ink is really sticky. But I want to get some good coverage in here. Now, another way you could do this with this particular stencil is to use a dauber and get your color in there. So you can see with part of it, and I only did this half, that you have the white flowers on the inside of your, I guess that's like a diamond shape. So another way to use your stencils. So let me move these off to the side. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them. So we're going to do a card. And I do want to clean this up a little bit here. So I'm just going to take my alcohol because I know it's going to dry quick and clean my glass mat. Okay. So I'm going to bring in Lost Lagoon. And I'm bringing also some pretty peacock. Now the Lost Lagoon is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I have a piece of pretty peacock that is 4 by 5 1/4. Now I did this using the masks, actually the same as I did this one, but without the flowers in the center. And I cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. And we're just going to layer these. Craft Kitty. Oh, you forgot. It's easy to forget about the white ink. It really is. The craft ink you can use to add some, gives you some texture and a little bit of interest, especially to your colored cardstock. All right. I'm going to go ahead and you can see I was playing and this is the wrong side. Every piece of paper has 2 sides and I do use it. And I'm going to go ahead and add this. All right. And bring that up a little bit. And that looks pretty good. There we go. All right. Now, with this set, you have a die that cuts, remember I said cuts this lattice, which I love, and I love the size of it. I have cut a piece of that lattice out that we're going to use, and I did cut mine out of basic white thick because I wanted it to have just a little bit more stiffness to it. And then I cut a piece of basic white, and this is 2 and I think it's 5/8 by 4. And I did emboss it with the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. And I'm going to layer this white lattice onto the white embossed cardstock. Now, to do that, you don't need to get every one of these. In fact, I don't want to get the center portion because I'm going to stick some leaves and flowers in there. So I'm just going to take my thin or needle point glue and add it around the edge of this frame. And then we're going to adhere it to the embossed layer. Now, I do like to use glue, and even with this small frame, it would be very hard to use a tape runner or a Stampin' Seal. So I'm just running it along the edge, and then I'm going to adhere it right to this embossed layer of basic white. Now, I will have a tutorial with measurements for you by the end of the day tomorrow. And that link you'll find right in the YouTube video description. You'll also be able to go over to my website, Simply Cards by Kathi, and look for the post dated tomorrow. So here is our focal point. Now, I'm going to pop that up, but I want to come in and show you how I use these other dies. And again, because you can use this with other stamp sets or that you have. I cut 2 of these leaves using Pretty Peacock. And while I said, remember I said I didn't want to tape these or glue those down because I want to be able to tuck them in the lattice work. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue, and I should have pulled out my silicone mat, but I didn't. And just add a dot here and there that I can add this to that lattice portion of my focal point. Okay. And just pick this up, and let's add this right in here. I'm going to tuck it under the lattice, and we're just going to press it down. Now I am gluing it on an embossed layer plus a die cut, so I'm going to hold it there for just a second. If you have something heavy, like even one of our blocks, stamp blocks, you can add that to on top of it. So I'm going to add, there's two pieces. I cut a large and a small. I used both of those dies. And we're going to go ahead and add this one. And I'm going to tuck this in so it looks like it's part of the branch. And that's going to be covered up, so you'll never know. All right, so there's that. So while that sets to dry, I'm going to add one of my blocks to just sit on it. Now I cut flowers, and I cut these, I cut 3 from Flirty Flamingo, and I cut 3 from the Strawberry Slush. And you can use these individually, but you can also put them together to give them a little bit more depth and make them look more like a daisy. So to do that, I'm going to add just a little bit of glue. I have my Strawberry Slush on the bottom. And then I'm going to take this and join them at the circle and just give it a press. And these are ready to adhere to your focal point. So before we do that, let's go ahead and add this to our card. I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals, and I'm just going to add on the corners and in the centers. So very easy cards, especially if you love to color, and I love to color with all mediums. It gives you some added, I think, depth and dimension to your card. And with this one, it almost looks like 3D, so it gives you some, what appears to be some texture also. So let's go ahead and add this, and I'm going to turn this right over to the side here. Now let's add our flowers. Now I'm not going to pop these up because I have popped up the panel with the lattice, and I'm likely going to mail this, but I'm going to put one right there. Remember I said we wouldn't see where I added that third stem. 3 flowers, 2 stems. And then I'm going to add one here. And I'm going to add one over here to the side. Now I want my flowers to have a little bit of glue here. Let's add this one right here over. Now for my sentiment, I am going to use one of my favorite new, the greetings from Mix and Match. And you've seen me if you've been following me the last little bit of couple weeks. I've been using these a lot. You get several sheets in white and in black. I decided today to use a black one because I thought it really stood out. And I'm going to pop this in with a dimensional, and I'm going to use some minis here. And then we're going to add a little bit to our flowers to the center just to make them shine and add a little bit of, I guess, glitz to them. So let's take these off and add these. And then I have 2 more cards to show you. Okay, so I'm just going to add this in the center. Look how pretty that looks, and the black really does kind of catch your attention. Now I'm going to bring in these new, the 2025, 2027. These are the flat-backed pearls in the new in colors. And I'm going to try to remember what this yellow one is. And but we're going to add them to the center of our flowers for instead of leaving them blank. And it gives it a little bit more interest and dimension and finishes off those flowers for you. Let me move this out of the way. So here is our card. Easy to do and a little bit different. Now let me show you another one. This is one I did with Flirty Flamingo for the diamond shape, and then the strawberry slush for the flowers in the center. And then this parallelogram is the die from the Linked Together that I cut two and then offset the white one so that I had a black outline. So that's the second card. And then the third card, I used just the lattice with some soft sea foam and the grape and Highland Heather. So 3 easy cards using just either the dies or the masks and the dies. So let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's live card class or video. It really is an easy one, but I think so many people forget about the masks. And I think they can add a lot, whether you're coloring a flower or whether you're even just doing backgrounds. So don't forget about them. And if you like this is on the last chance list. Let's see, Craft Kitty, my opinion about the glue gun. I love the glue gun. I have a hard time with my hands squeezing sometimes the little bottles. They seem to be a little hard for me. This is so easy that I barely have to touch it to just get a drop of ink. So if you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel. Feel free to share the video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I will be back with you next Tuesday when that catalog goes live with some new products. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe and well.